Hello everyone. Well, today's video is another traveling video. I shot this footage a while back while we were taking a drive through the countryside. Well, it's not really the countryside, it's more just rural America. But we are heading down the road. So I thought I'd make a rambling video, kind of just talking about different things to help you relax, fall asleep while you watch us travel on down the road. So I put a bit of a filter on this video. It was actually quite bright. The sky was really, really bright blue and kind of overpowering. So I toned that down a little bit to make this not quite so fluorescent. So this was just a nice, quiet drive. We are following the GPS to a place we had never been to before, and that is a railroad museum. My son is in the car with me, and we are wanting to find this place because he has a project that involves building a structure that could theoretically house a train car. So we were doing some research, and he wanted to actually measure a train car. So he did some research and found out that there was a museum. So that's what we are trying to hunt down. And it took us through this really nice piece of the country. You'll notice that the video will jump a little bit, and that's because the video recorder records in 5-minute segments and then starts a new segment, and when it does that, it jumps a little bit. So if that's super annoying, let me know. I'll try to cut those out in my other traveling videos, but I don't think it's that jarring. So you will notice on our right that we are following a pair of train tracks. The road and the tracks kind of generally follow the same path through the country. These are some of my favorite type of roads to drive on. They are usually not crowded at all. And even though the speed limit may be a little lower than the main big expressways, you still make pretty good time because you are not slowed down by tons of traffic. So I usually like to try to take these roads around big cities and around potential traffic problems. I've saved a few trips of ours by doing that. And that's another big advantage of having a GPS system, because you can ask it to reroute, and it will find a better way around some difficult traffic. So we shot this in October, and in this section of the country, the leaves have not started to turn yet. So there's still plenty of greenery. The trees are still showing their summertime colors. I don't know if any of the trees we see will have started to turn yet, but there may be one or two here and there. But a lot of these are pine trees anyway, so they're not going to change color no matter what. So I cut out the part where we actually went and visited the museum because we were just in the parking lot. So you'll see here we're going to come up to this turn, and then it's going to jump, and we're going to continue on down the same road. So we did not find exactly what we were looking for, but it was an interesting place nonetheless. So we're going to start heading back to the highway, but instead of going back the way we came, I thought it would be more interesting to continue on down the road and kind of make a big loop back to where we're going to get back on the highway or the expressway. I think there's technically a difference. I use those terms interchangeably, but did that guy just throw out a beer can? So I went back and rewatched the video, and it was just a can that was blowing down the side of the road. That person in front of me did not throw it out of their truck, so that's good. I'm not sure what town this is we're going through. Just some little town with a supermarket and some other little businesses. If you'll notice, as we go through, you'll see there's several places on the side of the road that look like manufacturing or light industry or something like that. So it's kind of just a nice average place in the country where people are getting things done, living their lives in a beautiful part of the country. Looks like that's a restaurant, and then there's some sort of maybe shopping over there on the other side. It's kind of going too fast for me to tell, and I don't remember from taking the trip. I think this coming up is some sort of like vocational high school. It's very interesting. It wasn't really a college, but it also wasn't a full-blown high school. It said something about trades. So that was kind of an interesting, it looks like it's a huge place. So, at a high school around the trades and those type of skills would be pretty awesome. I just haven't heard of very many of them. Here's a police officer directing traffic because the stoplights are out. And I think that's probably it for this little town. We have a big church there with some bright colors painted on it. Some apartments. A auto parts store and a car wash. So this is a nice little area. not too built up. We have another auto parts store and some restaurants. Got a KFC and a McDonald's. What more do you need? So the reason we were making this little detour was the fact that we were on a longer trip to somewhere else. And this happened to be on the way to our location. So we took this short little detour to find the Railroad Museum. Now the road's going back to just 2 lanes with a turn lane in the middle. You may notice some political signs on the side of the road here or there. We are in the middle of a election season, which means not just the presidential election, but also local elections as well. So you may see some signs for state representatives and senators, as well as local city positions that people can be elected for, such as sheriff or other city functions like water and sewer, or coroner. I think is some things that some areas allow to be an elected position. So you usually see them here at intersections. There's a few scattered around here. It's kind of hard to read them. But some positions are aligned with a party, such as Democrat or Republican, and some of them are not. I'm not sure what the rules are that govern that. So now we've turned onto a smaller road, but we're headed back towards the highway now. This is some residential area. Some nice houses set back from the road a little bit. Some other roads coming off of it. There's a little bit of color in some of those trees. That one was white. I'm not sure why it was white, unless it was in bloom for some odd reason. And there's more political signs. Some of them are huge and some of them are small. This is weird because it was a stop sign going across a double lane road. It was kind of disconcerting. Usually you only see stop signs at single lane roads. So this was a beautiful day to be traveling. Mostly clear skies, just a few clouds high up in the sky, kind of floating along, little fluffy clouds. And that's one of the reasons the sky was so bright in this video. I had to tone it down a little bit. So this was a nice trip. We got back, I guess, about a week ago, which is why I didn't release a video last week, because I was taking this trip. So while I shot one, I was not recording the audio while I was driving, because there was somebody else in the car with me, and that would just be too distracting, too many variables. So I decided to record the audio separately. So it's been about a week since I shot this. Well, I remembered what I was talking about before I got distracted by the can blowing down the road. I apologize for that. But I was talking about the difference between highways and expressways. And I kind of use them interchangeably, but I think technically what we are on here is a highway, and the expressway is the much larger, multi-laned, high-speed road with on-ramps and off-ramps. I think that's technically the difference. So expressways are made to get you to your destination faster, but can bypass towns and some of the smaller things, whereas the highways are kind of a step down from that and can go through a lot more of the rural area of the country. And then beyond that, I guess you have just regular roads. So I'm not sure if this would technically be considered a highway or a road. But the one we were on before this was definitely a highway. And all of the roads have numbers that designate them, even if they also have a name. So you may have something like Highway 55 that shows up on the map as it stretches across the land, probably going between states. But it could have several different names as it goes from town to town. It may be a main street for part of the time if it goes through the middle of a little town. It could be called something completely different a few miles down the road. But for the most part, the numbering stays the same. Sometimes you'll have two highways that will merge together, but they generally keep their numbers. Even though it's technically the same road, you'll see the numbers stacked up on top of each other. And then a little farther down, they may split again, and one number will go one way, and another number will go the other way. So it's a little confusing. Sometimes you have several highways that will combine. Then you have these big monstrosity signs trying to keep track of all the numbers you're following. And then you've got to keep track. If you were like following Highway 61 and it merged with Highway 55, you've got to be careful that you don't miss if Highway 61 splits off again someplace. Or else you'll just keep traveling down Highway 55 and completely be someplace you don't want to be. So I hope you've enjoyed this. We're about ready to get back on the highway here in just a little bit. So I thought you guys would like to see a little drive through the country. So please like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't. I do quite a variety of different types of ASMR videos, this being one of them. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.